In the vast darkness of space, aboard the gleaming Galactic Council's central station, hundreds of alien representatives gathered for what they believed would be a routine meeting. The massive chamber, with its crystal dome revealing the star-studded cosmos above, hummed with quiet conversations in countless alien languages. High Counselor Zixtal, a tall being with iridescent scales and multiple eyes, called the meeting to order. The chamber fell silent as holographic displays activated, showing images of a blue-green planet that every being in the room recognized. Earth. My fellow council members, Zixtal's voice echoed through the chamber. We gather today to discuss the primitive species known as humans. The word primitive drew quiet chuckles from several delegates. Our observation teams report that they still fight among themselves, pollute their planet, and have barely reached their own moon. The chief of scientific assessment, Dr. Kavik, stepped forward. His tentacles moved gracefully as he manipulated the holographic display, showing various scenes from Earth, cities, military bases, and space stations. Despite their technological advancement in the past century, they remain centuries behind the Council's minimum standards for civilization. As the presentation continued, none of the Council members noticed the small automated probe hovering just outside the station's security perimeter. The humans, it seemed, weren't as primitive as they thought. Back on Earth, in a highly secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Sarah Chen, the head of the Global Space Surveillance Network, stared at her screens with wide eyes. The alien transmission they had intercepted was being translated in real time. Her hands trembled as she reached for the secure phone. Mr. President, her voice was steady despite her racing heart. You need to see this immediately. Within hours, the United Nations Security Council convened in an emergency session. The room was tense as leaders from around the world watched the translated alien footage. They saw themselves being discussed like animals in a zoo, their achievements dismissed, their potential ignored. General Michael Rodriguez, commander of the newly formed Space Force, stood before the assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, we've confirmed the authenticity of this transmission. We are not alone, and more importantly, we are being watched, judged, and found wanting. The Chinese president leaned forward. They think us primitive. Then perhaps we should show them how primitive we can be. A subtle smile played across his face. The Russian president nodded in agreement. For the first time in human history, we face a threat bigger than our internal disputes. We must unite. As the meeting progressed, Earth's leaders made a decision that would change the course of human history. They would not announce their discovery to the public. Not yet. Instead, they would prepare. The various space agencies worldwide would be secretly merged into a single entity. Military resources would be redirected. Scientists would be recruited. In orbit, Earth's satellites were quietly repositioned. New ones were launched under the guise of commercial missions. But these weren't ordinary communications satellites. They were Earth's first line of defense, equipped with technology that even most world leaders didn't know existed. Deep in the Atacama Desert, Dr. James Wilson and his team of quantum physicists made a breakthrough. As they studied the alien transmissions, they discovered patterns that defied conventional physics. They're not as advanced as they think, he told his team, excitement evident in his voice. They're just different, and different doesn't mean better. The Galactic Council had made a critical mistake. They had judged humanity by their own standards, failing to recognize that Earth's greatest strength lay not in their current technological level, but in their incredible rate of adaptation and their fierce determination when faced with a challenge. As the sun set on that fateful day, humanity had changed forever. They were no longer alone, no longer ignorant of their place in the galaxy, and they were no longer content to be judged as primitive by those who didn't understand them. The awakening had begun, and with it, Earth's preparation for a response that would stun the Galactic Council into silence. The morning dawned crisp and clear over New York City when the alien ships appeared. 3 massive vessels, each shaped like polished silver diamonds, descended through Earth's atmosphere. They positioned themselves above the United Nations headquarters, casting enormous shadows over the frightened city below. Global news networks broadcast the scene live. Millions watched as the first official contact between humanity and alien life unfolded. Military jets circled at a safe distance, their pilots under strict orders not to engage unless attacked. Inside the UN General Assembly Hall, world leaders sat in tense silence. They had known this day was coming, but knowledge didn't make it easier. The chamber's massive doors swung open, and the Galactic Council delegation entered. The aliens were a sight to behold. The leader, Ambassador Xorthen, stood 8 feet tall with crystalline skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. Behind him, 6 other species represented the Council's major powers. They moved with an air of superiority that was impossible to miss. People of Earth, Xorthen's voice was artificially translated through devices they had brought. The Galactic Council has come to inform you of your status in the greater community of spacefaring civilizations. He paused, his crystal features reflecting the chamber's lights. Due to your primitive development and violent tendencies, Earth will be placed under quarantine. The chamber erupted in outrage. The Chinese representative stood up, his face red with anger. You have no right to. We have every right. Xorthen cut him off. Your species still wages war against itself. You poison your atmosphere. Your technology is centuries behind acceptable standards. For the safety of the galaxy, Earth will be isolated until you prove yourselves worthy. In a secure bunker beneath the Pentagon, General Rodriguez watched the transmission with Dr. Sarah Chen. They're scanning us, Sarah whispered, looking at her instruments. Their ships are mapping everything. Our defenses, power grids, military installations. Let them look, Rodriguez replied with a subtle smile. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. The real facilities were hidden far deeper, shielded by technology reverse-engineered from their own intercepted transmissions. Meanwhile, in a secret laboratory in the Swiss Alps, Dr. Wilson's team worked frantically. The alien ship's presence had provided them with invaluable data. They're quantum field generators, he muttered, studying the readings. They're not as efficient as they could be. They'd grown complacent, stopped innovating. Back at the UN, Ambassador Xorthen continued listing Earth's failings. He didn't notice the small device in the corner of the room, analyzing every word, every gesture, every piece of technology the delegation carried. Humanity might appear primitive, but they were learning. Fast. The quarantine begins immediately, Xorthen announced. Any attempt to leave your solar system will be met with immediate force. This is not a negotiation. The U.S. president stood slowly. His words were careful, measured. And if we refuse these terms, the alien ambassador's crystalline face somehow managed to convey contempt. You have no choice in the matter. We will return in 1 standard galactic year to assess your progress. With that, the delegation turned and left, their superiority evident in every step. As the alien ships departed, a network of hidden sensors activated worldwide. Every piece of data, every energy signature, every subtle detail of their technology was recorded and analyzed. In secret facilities across the globe, scientists and engineers began their work. The public panicked, as expected. But behind closed doors, Earth's leaders smiled. The Galactic Council had shown their hand, and their arrogance. They thought they were dealing with primitives. They thought Earth would accept their judgment without question. They were wrong. Their condescending display had united humanity like never before. In bunkers, laboratories, and military bases around the world, the real work began. Earth would not just prove itself worthy. It would show the galaxy that underestimating humanity was a dangerous mistake. The countdown to Earth's response had begun. 3 months after the Galactic Council's humiliating visit, Earth had transformed. Deep beneath the Mojave Desert, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of reverse-engineered alien technology. The breakthrough came when we realized we were thinking too much like them. she explained to the gathered military officials. The hologram showed a new type of engine, one that combined Earth's innovative approach with alien principles. They use quantum fields for propulsion, but they waste energy maintaining perfect stability. We found that controlled chaos actually works better. General Rodriguez smiled as he watched a test drone zip across the underground chamber using the new engine. It moved faster and more unpredictably than anything the Council had shown. How soon can we scale this up? We already have, Dr. Chen replied, pressing a button. A massive hangar door slid open, revealing Earth's first true spaceship. It wasn't beautiful like the Council's vessels. It was aggressive, practical, and deadly efficient. We call it the Phoenix. Meanwhile, in military bases worldwide, soldiers trained with new weapons. Captain Maria Torres led her squad through combat simulations in Brazil's hidden jungle facility. They wore powered armor that looked crude compared to alien technology, but incorporated one crucial advantage: it was unpredictable. The Council relies too heavily on AI and automated systems, Torres explained to her troops. They've forgotten the value of human instinct. Their combat computers can't predict what they don't understand, and they don't understand human creativity. In orbit, disguised as ordinary satellites, Earth's first line of defense took shape. These weren't the elegant weapons of the Council. They were hybrid creations, combining salvaged alien tech with humanity's brutal efficiency. Dr. Wilson's quantum physics team had discovered that Earth's primitive nuclear weapons, when modified with alien technology, created distortions that could rip apart the Council's supposedly superior shields. Underground bunkers in every nation were converted into production facilities. The public saw only the surface: solar farms, wind turbines, and other green energy projects. Below, humanity prepared for war. They didn't build many ships, knowing they couldn't match the Council's numbers. Instead, they built weapons that would make each ship count. "Look at this," Dr. Wilson said, showing his latest discovery to Sarah Chen. "They're quantum communications. They're based on harmony, on perfect alignment. But if we introduce discord," he pressed a button, and the test system erupted in chaos. "We can turn their own technology against them." In the Indian Ocean, submarines tested new stealth systems. In the Russian tundra, massive rail guns were constructed that could launch projectiles at speeds that would make the Council's sensors blind. Chinese quantum computers, combined with alien math, created encryption that even the Council's AI couldn't crack. But Earth's greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was humanity's ability to adapt and improvise. In a secret facility in Antarctica, pilots trained in simulators that replicated Council ships. They didn't try to match the aliens' elegant flying style. Instead, they developed new tactics, using maneuvers that the Council would consider insane. "They think we're primitive because we're different," General Rodriguez told a global military conference. "They've had their technology so long, they'd forgotten how to innovate. But us? We're just getting started." One by one, Earth's nations pooled their strengths. Japanese precision combined with German engineering. American innovation merged with Russian resilience. Chinese mass production joined forces with Brazilian resourcefulness. For the first time in history, humanity worked as one. 6 months after the Council's visit, Earth was ready. The surface still looked the same: primitive, divided, struggling. But beneath that carefully maintained facade, a new power was rising. A power built not on elegant technology, but on human determination and creativity. The Council had called them primitive. Soon, they would learn that primitive didn't mean weak. It meant dangerous. It meant unpredictable. It meant human. And humanity was done being underestimated. 9 months into Earth's quarantine, the planet appeared exactly as the Galactic Council had left it. Major cities still glowed with inefficient lighting. Satellites still orbited in predictable patterns. To any watching eyes, humanity remained primitive and unchanged. This was exactly what General Rodriguez wanted them to think. Deep within Mount Cheyenne, He stood in Earth's new central command. Massive screens covered the walls, showing real-time data from thousands of hidden sensors. "Status report," he commanded. Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward, her tablet displaying classified information. "Phoenix Squadron is complete. 20 ships, each capable of matching Council vessels in speed and firepower." She paused, allowing herself a small smile. "And thanks to Dr. Wilson's chaos theory integration, they can do things the Council would consider impossible." "And our defensive systems?" Rodriguez asked, eyes fixed on a global map. "The Artemis network is fully operational," Sarah replied. "We've hidden quantum disruption fields in every major city. They look like normal power fluctuations, but the moment Council ships enter our atmosphere..." She made an explosive gesture with her hands. In the South Pacific, a seemingly abandoned oil platform served as cover for humanity's most ambitious project. Captain Torres stood at the command center of the underwater facility, watching as her teams trained with the new hybrid weapons. These weren't elegant laser rifles like the Council used. They were brutal combinations of human ingenuity and alien technology. "Again," she ordered, as her soldiers practiced quick deployment maneuvers. Their powered armor might look crude, but it could transition from underwater to space combat in seconds. The Council would never expect such versatility from primitives. Meanwhile, in the Australian outback, Dr. Wilson supervised the final tests of Earth's secret weapon. "The quantum entanglement trap is ready," he reported via secure channel. "When they try to use their fancy faster-than-light communications, they'll find themselves talking to copies of themselves. The confusion should buy us precious minutes." Underground factories worked day and night. On the surface, they appeared to be ordinary manufacturing plants. Below, they produced components for weapons that would make even the Council's most advanced warriors pause. Every nation contributed its expertise: Swiss precision instruments, Japanese electronics, American innovations, Russian resilience. In orbit, disguised satellites carried more than just observation equipment. They were the first line of Earth's defense, capable of transforming into weapon platforms at a moment's notice. Their orbits seemed random and inefficient, exactly what the Council would expect from primitives. In reality, they formed an intricate web, ready to trap any hostile fleet. 612 manual override stations are in place, Sarah reported, highlighting points on the global map. "If they try to hack our systems, we can switch to completely mechanical controls. No AI for them to corrupt, no computers for them to override." General Rodriguez nodded approvingly. "And our disinformation campaign?" "Working perfectly," Sarah confirmed. "Our leaked transmissions show exactly what they expect. Petty conflicts, technological struggles, political divisions. The Council's spies are reporting exactly what we want them to see." In secret bases around the world, pilots ran combat simulations that would make Council tacticians shake their heads in disbelief. They practiced maneuvers that defied conventional space combat doctrine. The Council relied on elegant, predictable patterns. Humanity would show them the value of controlled chaos. 3 months until they return, Rodriguez reminded his staff. "Every system must be perfect. Every soldier must be ready. We get one chance to show them what humanity is capable of." Sarah looked at the countdown timer on her screen. "Do you think we're ready, sir?" Rodriguez smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant expression. "Ready? No, we're beyond ready. The Council thinks they're coming to check on their primitive quarantine project. Instead, they're walking into humanity's carefully crafted trap." The waiting game continued. On the surface, Earth slept. But beneath that peaceful facade, humanity's trap was set. The Council would return, expecting to find compliant primitives. They would find something else entirely. The Galactic Council's inspection fleet arrived exactly 1 year after their first visit. 7 massive ships, each one a masterpiece of alien engineering, emerged from hyperspace near Earth's moon. Their elegant forms gleamed in the sunlight as they moved towards the planet with absolute confidence. High Commander Xorthen stood on his flagship's bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the main display. "Status report on the primitives," he asked, his crystalline features reflecting starlight. "No significant changes detected, Commander," his science officer reported. "Their satellites remain in the same inefficient patterns. Ground-based technology shows minimal advancement." Xorthen smiled. "As expected. Begin descento." The alarm klaxons suddenly screamed to life. Earth's inefficient satellite network transformed. Hidden panels slid away, revealing weapons unlike anything the Council had ever seen. Before the alien fleet could react, the entire network fired simultaneously. Not elegant energy beams, but a chaotic storm of quantum-enhanced projectiles that turned space itself into a weapon. Impossible. Xorthen shouted as his ship rocked violently. Their technology was centuries behind. Multiple ships emerging from Earth's surface. His tactical officer interrupted. The Phoenix Squadron burst from hidden bases worldwide, their hybrid drives leaving trails of controlled chaos in their wake. They didn't move with the Council's practiced precision. They flew like demons possessed, their patterns impossible to predict. In orbit, Dr. Sarah Chen watched from Central Command's satellite feed. "Phase 1 complete," she reported. "Their shields are destabilizing exactly as predicted." General Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Launch Phase 2. Across Earth's surface, hidden installations activated. What the Council had dismissed as primitive nuclear missile silos revealed their true nature. The launched weapons weren't simple missiles. They were Dr. Wilson's quantum disruption bombs, designed to tear reality itself apart around the Council's ships. "Their communication network is compromised," Sarah announced, watching data stream across her screens. "Quantum entanglement trap is working. Their ships can't coordinate." In space, the battle raged. Council ships fired their elegant energy weapons, but the Phoenix Squadron's pilots used maneuvers that should have been impossible. Captain Torres, leading the assault, drove her ship into moves that made Council tactical computers crash, trying to predict her next action. "You wanted primitive." She transmitted on all frequencies. "Let us show you primitive." Her squadron executed the Chaos Gambit, a battle plan that looked like complete insanity but was actually precisely calculated to exploit every weakness in Council technology. Ships spun and rolled, their hybrid drives creating quantum distortions that played havoc with alien targeting systems. On his flagship, Xorthen watched in horror as 3 of his ships fell to Earth's assault. "How?" he demanded. "They were nothing. They were quarantined." "Sir," his science officer's voice shook. "They're weapons. They're not copying our technology. They're using it differently. They've taken our basic principles and twisted them into something new." The remaining Council ships attempted to retreat, but Earth had one final surprise. The quantum disruption field activated, trapping them in normal space. No escape to hyperspace. No elegant withdrawal. "Attention Council vessels." General Rodriguez's voice boomed across all frequencies. "You came to inspect your primitive quarantine subjects. Instead, you found humanity. We offer you one chance to survive. Immediate surrender." The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. When it ended, the mighty Council fleet was reduced to drifting wreckage and captured vessels. Earth's first strike had been perfect, a demonstration of power that would send shockwaves through the galaxy. As rescue ships collected the surviving Council crew members, Sarah turned to Rodriguez. "They'll send more ships." "Of course they will," he smiled. "But now they know. Now the entire galaxy will know. Earth is not primitive. Earth is not weak. Earth has been waiting. And Earth is ready." The message would spread across the stars. The primitives had not just survived. They had evolved, adapted, and conquered. Humanity's age of submission was over. The real war was about to begin. News of Earth's victory spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council's central station, chaos reigned. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued as recordings of the battle played on massive screens. "Impossible," shouted the Zentaran delegate, his crystalline form flickering with agitation. "How could primitives defeat our most advanced fleet?" The chamber's doors burst open. High Commander Xorthan, now a prisoner of war, was escorted in by human guards wearing their primitive-powered armor. General Rodriguez and Dr. Sarah Chen followed, their presence sending whispers through the alien crowd. "Impossible." Rodriguez's voice carried across the chamber. "No, we simply showed you what happens when you underestimate humanity." On the other side of the chamber, Ambassador Catal of the Arcturian Empire stood. Unlike the others, she watched the battle footage with keen interest. "They didn't just copy our technology," she observed. "They improved it, changed it, made it their own." "The humans must be contained," shouted another delegate. "They're too unpredictable, too dangerous." Sarah stepped forward, her tablet displaying data that made several alien scientists gasp. "Contain us. Your quarantine gave us exactly what we needed. Time to prepare. And we're not done showing you what humanity can do." In the shadows of the chamber, representatives from younger civilizations watched with growing interest. The Proxians, themselves considered primitive by Council standards, began quiet discussions with their neighbors. If Earth could challenge the Council's authority, perhaps they weren't alone. "We demand an emergency vote," the Zentaran delegate announced, "to declare Earth a threat to galactic stability." "I second that motion," added the Voraxian representative, his tentacles writhing with anxiety. But before the vote could proceed, Ambassador Catal raised her hand. "The Arcturian Empire opposes this motion. Furthermore, we propose an immediate trade and technology exchange agreement with Earth." The chamber erupted again. The Arcturians were one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the Council. Their support changed everything. "The Proxian Confederation stands with Earth," announced their representative, stepping forward. Others followed, younger civilizations who had long chafed under the Council's rigid hierarchy. General Rodriguez smiled as he watched the political battleground shift. Just as planned, Earth's victory had cracked the Council's unity. Dr. Wilson's analysis had predicted this exact scenario. The younger races would see an opportunity, while the more pragmatic older civilizations would seek to adapt rather than fight. "Perhaps," Sarah suggested to the chamber, "it's time for the Council to evolve. Earth doesn't seek war. We seek respect. Partnership, but as equals, not as subjects." In orbit above the Council station, the Phoenix Squadron maintained its patrol. Their ships, carrying Dr. Wilson's latest quantum weapons, served as a constant reminder of Earth's new power. But they also carried scientific equipment, medical supplies, and trade goods, showing humanity's readiness for peace. The debate raged for days. Old alliances crumbled as new ones formed. The galaxy's political landscape transformed as rapidly as Earth had transformed the Council's technology. Finally, a new resolution was proposed. Earth would not only be removed from quarantine but would be granted full membership in a reformed council. Their innovative approach to technology would be studied, not feared. Their military capabilities would be respected, not contained. The vote stands at 712 in favor, 288 opposed, announced the Council's eye. The resolution passes. As the chamber erupted in a mix of cheers and worried murmurs, Rodriguez turned to Sarah. "Phase 1 complete. Ready for Phase 2. Sarah nodded, looking at her tablet where reports streamed in from Earth's new alien allies. "The galaxy won't know what hit them. We're not just joining their community, we're going to revolutionize it." The political victory was complete. Earth had not just won its freedom, it had reshaped the galaxy's power structure. And this was only the beginning. Humanity's age of isolation was over. The age of human innovation was about to begin. 5 years after Earth's stunning victory over the Galactic Council fleet, the solar system had transformed. Space stations built with hybrid human-alien technology orbited every major planet. Ships from 100 worlds moved through Earth's bustling space lanes, carrying trade goods and cultural exchanges. In the newly constructed Humanity Center on Mars, General Rodriguez, now Earth's ambassador to the reformed Galactic Alliance, stood before a massive window overlooking the Red Planet's first major city. Dr. Sarah Chen joined him, her tablet displaying reports from Earth's colonies spreading across the stars. "Remember when they called us primitive?" Rodriguez asked, watching a Proxian trade ship dock at the orbital station above. "Hard to believe it was only 5 years ago," Sarah replied. "Our latest statistics show Earth-based innovations have improved galactic quantum drive efficiency by 300%. Not bad for primitives." Earth had kept its promise. They hadn't just joined the galactic community. They had revolutionized it. Human creativity, combined with alien technology, spawned breakthroughs that transformed everything from space travel to medicine. In the Singapore Space Academy, Captain Torres, now fleet commander, trained pilots from 20 different species. The human style of space combat had become legendary, with even the oldest civilizations sending their best to learn Earth's unpredictable but effective techniques. "Chaos isn't your enemy," she told her alien students as they practiced in advanced simulators. "Chaos is a tool. Understand it, embrace it, and you can achieve the impossible." Dr. Wilson's quantum research facility in Antarctica had become the galaxy's premier center for theoretical physics. Alien scientists worked alongside humans, combining ancient knowledge with fresh perspectives. His quantum chaos theory had revolutionized everything from weapons technology to environmental restoration. "The Council's mistake," he explained to a group of visiting alien scientists, "wasn't their advanced technology. It was their rigid thinking. They forgot that evolution requires adaptation, change, and sometimes a little controlled chaos." Earth's influence spread far beyond technology. Human culture, art, and philosophy fascinated alien civilizations. They were particularly intrigued by humanity's ability to unite despite their differences, to turn diversity into strength. In the Reformed Alliance's central chamber on Mars, representatives from Earth sat as equals with the galaxy's oldest civilizations. The former High Commander Xorthan, now a permanent ambassador for cultural exchange, addressed the assembly. "5 years ago, I came to Earth believing I would find primitives," he admitted, his crystalline features showing humility. "Instead, I found teachers. Humanity showed us that true advancement isn't measured by age or technology, but by the ability to adapt, innovate, and grow." Earth's populations had access to medical technology that eliminated most diseases. Clean energy powered cities worldwide. But humanity hadn't lost its edge. Every advancement, every innovation still carried that unique human touch, the ability to think differently, to find new solutions to old problems. The latest reports from the Arcturian border, Sarah shared with Rodriguez, show our hybrid defense systems have reduced piracy by 90%. Even the criminals can't predict our chaos-based security protocols. Rodriguez nodded, watching as a school of young humans and aliens toured the facility below. "And our exploration programs. 17 new habitable worlds discovered using our modified quantum sensors," Sarah replied. "The old council ignored them because they didn't fit their standard search parameters. Human ingenuity found what their advanced technology missed." As the twin moons of Mars rose over the horizon, Earth's first generation of true galactic citizens prepared to inherit a legacy of innovation and adaptation. They would carry humanity's spirit to the stars, not as conquerors or primitives, but as pioneers and partners. They thought they were containing a primitive species, Rodriguez reflected. Instead, they released humanity's greatest potential. Sarah smiled, watching a group of human and alien children playing in the artificial gravity park below. "We showed them something better than advancement. We showed them evolution." The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never again would anyone underestimate the species that turned quarantine into revolution, isolation into innovation, and defeat into destiny. Humanity had arrived, and the stars themselves would never be the same.